Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Let me start by asking you something important. What is the most frequent conversation in your life? Now, I'm not talking about conversations with your friends, your family, or your coworkers. No, I'm talking about the conversation you have with the person in the mirror, yourself. Because here's the truth. The most important words you'll ever hear are the words you say to yourself. Those words shape your beliefs, drive your actions, and ultimately define your destiny. So today I'm going to challenge you. For the next 3 days, just 3 days, I want you to take control of this internal dialogue. I want you to talk to yourself like the person you aspire to be. Speak to yourself with encouragement, purpose, and power. Imagine waking up tomorrow, and instead of doubting yourself, you tell yourself, I am capable. I am strong. I am strong. I am on my way to greatness. Imagine how your actions would change. Imagine how your results would transform. Now, let me tell you why this matters. Because the most important relationship you'll ever have in your life is the one you have with yourself. And the way you talk to yourself is the foundation of that relationship. If your internal dialogue is full of doubt, fear, and negativity, then no amount of external success will ever truly satisfy you. But if you learn to speak to yourself with belief, encouragement, and purpose, there is no limit to what you can achieve. Here's the promise I'm making to you today. By the time this speech is over, you will have a step-by-step plan to transform your inner dialogue. You'll learn how to silence the self-doubt, nurture confidence, and plant the seeds of greatness. And here's the best part. It only takes 3 days to start seeing the change. I think about that. 3 days. Just 72 hours. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Jim, can something so simple really make a difference? Let me assure you, it can. Because everything extraordinary begins with something small. A single spark ignites a fire. A single step begins a journey. And a single positive thought can reshape your destiny. But before we dive in, let me tell you why you must stay with me until the very end of this talk. By the end of our time together, you'll know. 1. The power of self-talk. Why the words you say to yourself every day shape your beliefs, your actions, and your results. 2. The 3-day challenge. A simple yet powerful plan to rewire your mindset in 3 days. 3. Practical tools, specific techniques and strategies to maintain positive self-talk long after the challenge is over. 4. A clear vision for your future. How changing your inner dialogue can unlock opportunities, improve relationships, and help you become the person you've always wanted to be. If you're here today, I know one thing about you. You want to grow. You want to achieve more. You want to become the best version of yourself, and that's a beautiful thing. But let me ask you this. What's holding you back? For most people, the biggest obstacle isn't external. It's internal. It's not the economy, the competition, or the circumstances. It's the voice in their head saying, you're not good enough. You can't do it. You'll never succeed. That voice is your greatest enemy. But here's the good news. You have the power to change it. Let me share a quick story with you. Years ago, I met a young man who was struggling in every area of his life. He had talent, he had potential, but he couldn't see it. Every day, his internal dialogue was filled with negativity. He'd wake up and tell himself, I'm a failure. I'll never get ahead. I gave him the same advice I'm sharing with you today. I told him to talk to himself like the person he wanted to become. For 3 days, he practiced. He replaced every negative thought with a positive one. He started affirming his abilities, visualizing his goals, and speaking to himself with kindness. Do you know what happened? By the end of those 3 days, his confidence had grown. He started taking action. Within a year, his life looked completely different. He landed a new job, improved his relationships, and began pursuing his dreams. Now, I'm not saying it was easy. Change never is. But it was simple. And that's the beauty of this process. It works if you work it. But let me flip the coin for a moment. What happens if you don't take control of your self-talk? What happens if you let the negativity run unchecked? I'll tell you what happens. Nothing changes. You stay stuck in the same patterns, facing the same frustrations, living the same life. And let me be clear, my friends. Staying the same has a cost. It costs you your potential. It costs you the life you could have had. It costs you the person you were meant to be. But here's the thing. You're here today. That tells me you're not willing to settle. You're ready to grow. You're ready to take control of your thoughts, your actions, and your destiny. So, here's what we're going to do. Over the next hour, we're going to embark on a journey into the power of self-talk. We'll start by understanding why self-talk is so important, I'll show you how your thoughts shape your reality and why most people sabotage themselves with negativity. Then, I'll introduce you to the 3-day challenge. It's a simple, actionable plan that will help you rewire your mindset and build a foundation of confidence and belief. Finally, I'll give you practical tips and tools to keep the momentum going. Because this isn't just about 3 days, it's about creating a lifelong habit of talking to yourself with purpose and positivity. Let me leave you with one final thought before we dive in. You are the architect of your life. Every thought you think, every word you say to yourself, is a brick in the foundation of your future. So I'm asking you to make a decision today. Will you keep building with doubt and fear, or will you start building with belief and purpose? The choice is yours. But let me tell you this, if you choose to take control of your self-talk, you'll unlock a power within you that can change everything. Are you ready to begin? Let's get started. Part 1. Why self-talk matters. Ladies and gentlemen, let me begin by saying this. If you want to change your life, you must first change the way you think. And one of the most critical aspects of your thinking is your self-talk, the ongoing conversation you have with yourself. Now, why does self-talk matter so much? Why is it the foundation of personal development? Let me break it down for you. Words are powerful. They can build or destroy, inspire or discourage, heal or harm. And while we often think about the words we say to others, the words we say to ourselves are even more impactful. Let me ask you, have you ever stopped to think about the conversations you're having with yourself all day long? Most of us don't. We go through life on autopilot, unaware of the steady stream of thoughts running through our minds. But here's the truth. Your thoughts shape your reality. If your inner dialogue is filled with doubt, fear, and negativity, that's what you'll see in your life. But if it's filled with belief, confidence, and positivity, you'll start to notice opportunities, solutions, and progress. Here's something I want you to write down. Your thoughts create your beliefs, and your beliefs create your reality. Every belief you hold about yourself, whether it's I'm capable or I'm not good enough, started as a thought. When you think the same thought repeatedly, it becomes a belief. And once it becomes a belief, it starts to guide your actions. For example, if you believe you're not good at something, you're less likely to try. And even if you do, you'll approach it with hesitation and doubt. On the other hand, if you believe you're capable of learning, you'll approach challenges with curiosity and determination. Your beliefs act like a filter through which you see the world. And that filter is created by your self-talk. Let's take a moment to explore the science behind this. Psychologists have studied self-talk for decades, and here's what they've found. Number 1. Negative self-talk increases stress. When you constantly criticize yourself or dwell on your failures, your brain releases stress hormones like cortisol. This not only affects your mood, but also your health. Chronic negative self-talk has been linked to anxiety, depression, and even physical illnesses. Number 2. Positive self-talk boosts confidence and performance. Athletes, performers, and high achievers often use positive self-talk to prepare for challenges. Why? Because it works. Positive self-talk reduces anxiety, enhances focus, and boosts confidence, all of which lead to better performance. Number 3. Self-talk shapes neural pathways. Every thought you think strengthens neural pathways in your brain. Negative thoughts reinforce negative pathways, making it easier for you to think negatively in the future. Positive thoughts, on the other hand, build new, empowering pathways. Over time, you can literally rewire your brain by changing your self-talk. Examples of negative vs. Positive self-talk. Let's make this real. Here are some common examples of negative self-talk and how you can reframe them. Negative. I always mess things up. Positive. I make mistakes, but I'm learning and improving. Negative. I'll never be successful. Positive. Success is a journey, and I'm taking steps every day. Negative. I'm not good enough. Positive. I am enough, and I'm growing stronger every day. Notice the difference? Positive self-talk doesn't ignore challenges. It reframes them in a way that empowers you to take action. Here's something crucial to understand. We all live by the stories we tell ourselves. If you tell yourself, I'm too old to change, that story becomes your reality. If you tell yourself, I'm not smart enough to succeed, that story limits your potential. But here's the good news, you can change your story. Start telling yourself a new story. I'm never too old to learn and grow. I have the intelligence and determination to achieve my goals. When you change your story, you change your identity. And when you change your identity, you change your life. The first step to improving your self-talk is awareness. You can't change what you don't acknowledge. So, I challenge you to pay attention to your inner dialogue for the next 24 hours. Every time you catch yourself thinking something negative, write it down. You might be surprised at how often those thoughts appear. But don't judge yourself. This isn't about beating yourself up. It's about recognizing the patterns so you can begin to change them. Now, let's get practical. How can you start improving your self-talk today? Number 1, use affirmations. Affirmations are positive statements you repeat to yourself. For example, I am capable of achieving my goals. I am worthy of love and success. I am becoming the best version of myself. Affirmations work because they help rewire your brain. The more you repeat them, the more they become your new reality. Number 2, practice gratitude. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's missing to what's abundant. Every morning, write down 3 things you're grateful for. This simple habit can transform your mindset over time. Number 3, visualize your success. Spend a few minutes each day visualizing yourself achieving your goals. See yourself confident, successful, and fulfilled. Visualization helps align your thoughts and actions with your aspirations. Number 4, surround yourself with positivity. The people and media you surround yourself with have a significant impact on your self-talk. Choose friends who uplift you. Listen to motivational content. Read books that inspire you. Number 5, celebrate small wins. Every step forward, no matter how small, is worth celebrating. Acknowledge your progress and remind yourself that you're moving in the right direction. When you improve your self-talk, it doesn't just benefit you. It impacts everyone around you. Think about it. When you're confident and positive, you inspire those around you. Your energy becomes contagious. You become a role model for your family, friends, and coworkers. And here's something even more powerful. When you speak to yourself with kindness and encouragement, it becomes easier to speak to others the same way. Imagine a world where everyone uplifted themselves and each other. That's the ripple effect of positive self-talk. But let's not sugarcoat it. Negative self-talk has a cost. Every time you doubt yourself, criticize yourself, or compare yourself to others, you're holding yourself back. You're dimming your own light. And let me tell you, the world doesn't need you to play small. The world needs you to step into your greatness. Let me leave you with this. You are the architect of your mind. The thoughts you think, the words you say to yourself are the building blocks of your life. So choose wisely. Build a foundation of belief, confidence, and positivity. Because when you change the way you talk to yourself, you change everything. Are you ready to take control of your self-talk? Are you ready to start building the life you deserve? Then let's keep going. This is just the beginning. Part 2. The 3-day challenge. Now that we've explored why self-talk matters, it's time to take action. Knowledge without action is wasted potential, my friends. So today I'm introducing you to a simple yet powerful challenge, the 3-day self-talk challenge. This isn't just an exercise. It's a transformative experience. In the next 3 days, you'll begin to reprogram your mind, silence your doubts, and cultivate confidence and belief. It's a small commitment with the potential to produce extraordinary results. Let's break it down step by step. Day 1, awareness. Catching your inner critic. Day 1 is about awareness. You can't change what you don't acknowledge. Most people go through life unaware of the toxic dialogue running through their minds. It's time to shine a light on those hidden thoughts. Step 1, observe without judgment. Throughout the day, I want you to pay attention to your inner dialogue. Carry a small notebook or use your phone to jot down the negative thoughts that pop up. Don't try to change them yet. Just observe. For example, I'm not good at this. I'll never be successful. Why do I always mess things up? These thoughts might surprise you. You might realize that your own mind has been your harshest critic. But here's the key. Don't judge yourself for having these thoughts. They're not who you are. They're simply patterns you've developed over time. Step 2, identify the source. For every negative thought you write down, ask yourself, where did this come from? Is it something someone said to you in the past? Is it a fear of failure or rejection? Is it rooted in comparison with others? Understanding the source helps you recognize that these thoughts are not facts. They're just stories you've been telling yourself. Step 3. End the day with reflection. Before you go to bed, review your notes. Look at the negative thoughts you've recorded and ask yourself, are these thoughts helping me or holding me back? What would my life look like if I stopped believing these thoughts? This process of reflection is the first step toward taking control of your inner dialogue. Day 1 is about laying the foundation. It might feel uncomfortable at first, but remember, awareness is the beginning of change. Day 2, reframe, turning negatives into positives. Day 2 is where the magic begins. Now that you've identified your negative thoughts, it's time to reframe them. This is the step where you take control and start rewriting your inner script. Step 1. Challenge the negative thoughts. Look at the list of negative thoughts you recorded on day 1. For each one, ask yourself, is this thought absolutely true? What evidence do I have to support or refute it? How would I think about this if I were my most confident self? Here's the reality: most negative thoughts are based on fear, not fact. They're distortions that don't hold up to scrutiny. Step 2. Replace the negative with the positive. For every negative thought, write down a positive affirmation to replace it. Make it specific and empowering. For example, negative thought, I'm not good enough. Reframe, I am worthy of success and capable of achieving my goals. Negative thought, I'll never figure this out. Reframe, I am a problem solver and I learn something new every day. Step 3. Speak it out loud. Here's an important part of the process. Speak your positive affirmations out loud. Why? Because words spoken with emotion have power. When you say, I am confident and capable, and you say it with conviction, your brain starts to believe it. Repeat your affirmations several times throughout the day, especially in the morning and before bed. This is where you take the pen and start rewriting your story. Your words matter. Speak to yourself like the person you want to become. Day 3. Reinforcement. Building the habit. Day 3 is about creating momentum. It's not enough to reframe your thoughts for one day. You need to start building a habit that will last a lifetime. Step 1. Visualize your future self. Spend 5 to 10 minutes in the morning visualizing the person you want to become. Close your eyes and see yourself confident, successful, and fulfilled. Imagine how you would walk, talk, and think. Visualization is a powerful tool because it aligns your thoughts and actions with your goals. When you see yourself succeeding, you start to believe it's possible. Step 2. Practice gratitude. Gratitude is the antidote to negativity. Every evening, write down 3 things you're grateful for. They don't have to be big, just something that brought you joy or made your day better. For example, I'm grateful for the opportunity to grow. I'm grateful for the support of my family. I'm grateful for the progress I've made in this challenge. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's missing to what's abundant. Step 3. Celebrate small wins. At the end of day 3, take a moment to celebrate your progress. Reflect on the changes you've already made in your self-talk. Acknowledge the effort you've put in and give yourself credit. Celebrating small wins reinforces positive behavior. It reminds you that you're capable of change and it motivates you to keep going. Day 3 isn't the end, it's the beginning. By completing this challenge, you've taken the first step toward transforming your inner dialogue. The momentum you've built over these 3 days can carry you forward, one day at a time. Now you might be wondering, what happens after day 3? The answer is simple. You keep going. Transformation doesn't happen overnight, but it starts with small, consistent actions. Keep practicing the habits you've learned during this challenge. Keep speaking to yourself with kindness and belief. Here's the truth. Every day is an opportunity to grow. Every day is a chance to rewrite your story. Let me leave you with this. You are capable of more than you can imagine. The person you want to become is already within you, waiting to be unleashed. And the key to unlocking that potential is your self-talk. So take the challenge, commit to it fully, and remember, the words you speak to yourself today will shape your tomorrow. Part 3. The ripple effect of self-talk. Let me ask you something, my friends. Have you ever thrown a pebble into a still pond and watched the ripple spread? That one small action, that tiny pebble, creates waves that expand far beyond where it landed. Now imagine this, your self-talk is the pebble, and your life is the pond. Every thought you think, every word you say to yourself sends ripples into your actions, your relationships, and even the lives of others. It's not just about you, it's about the legacy you leave behind, the impact you make, and the life you build. Today, we're going to explore the ripple effect of self-talk. We'll uncover how it shapes your inner world, how it transforms your outer world, and how it creates a chain reaction that can influence everyone around you. Ripple 1. Your beliefs shape your reality. Let's start at the core of the ripple. Your beliefs. What you believe about yourself, your capabilities, your worth, your potential, determines the life you create. Here's the truth. Your self-talk reinforces your beliefs, for better or worse. When you tell yourself, I am capable, or I can figure this out, you start to believe it. And when you believe in yourself, you take actions that align with those beliefs. You take risks you might have avoided. You seize opportunities you once thought were out of reach. You persist through challenges instead of giving up. On the other hand, if your self-talk is filled with doubt, I'm not good enough, I'll never succeed, you reinforce those beliefs too. You hold yourself back. You stop trying. Let me tell you about a young entrepreneur I once met. She had a dream of starting her own business, but her inner dialogue was full of fear. What if I fail? What if I'm not cut out for this? I asked her to spend 30 days replacing those thoughts with affirmations. I am resourceful. I am capable. I learn from every challenge. Within a year, she launched her business and saw incredible success. Her external success began with an internal shift. Ripple 2. Your actions reflect your thoughts. The second ripple of self-talk is action. Your thoughts drive your actions, and your actions shape your reality. It's as simple as this. What you say to yourself determines what you do. Consider this cycle. Positive self-talk leads to confident actions. Confident actions lead to positive outcomes. Positive outcomes reinforce positive self-talk. It's a virtuous cycle, a ripple that keeps expanding. But the opposite is also true. Negative self-talk leads to hesitation or inaction. Inaction leads to missed opportunities. Missed opportunities reinforce negative self-talk. So ask yourself, what kind of cycle do I want to create? Here's a practical step. Before you take any action, pause and listen to your self-talk. If it's negative, reframe it. Turn I can't do this into I'll do my best and learn along the way. Ripple 3. The impact on your relationships. Now let's talk about how your self-talk affects the people around you. Here's a truth we often overlook. The way you treat yourself sets the tone for how others treat you. When you speak to yourself with kindness and respect, you project confidence. People are drawn to confidence. They trust you, respect you, and feel inspired by you. But if your self-talk is harsh and critical, it shows. It affects your energy, your demeanor, and even your relationships. I remember a man who once told me, Jim, my wife and I argue all the time. I don't know what to do. I asked him, how do you talk to yourself? He looked puzzled. What does that have to do with anything? I told him, if you're constantly criticizing yourself, you're probably carrying that same energy into your conversations. Change how you talk to yourself and you might find it easier to communicate with her. 3 months later, he came back and said, Jim, you were right. I started treating myself better, and it changed everything. Ripple 4. The legacy you leave behind. Finally, let's talk about the biggest ripple of all. Your legacy. Your self-talk doesn't just affect you. It affects the people you influence, the work you do, and the life you leave behind. When you transform your self-talk, you become a living example of what's possible. You show others that change is possible, that growth is attainable, that success starts from within. Think about the people you admire. Chances are they didn't get where they are by tearing themselves down. They believed in their potential, and that belief inspired others. Imagine this. One day someone tells you, because of you, I started believing in myself. That's the ultimate ripple, my friends. So what kind of ripples do you want to create? Do you want to live a life of confidence and purpose? Do you want to inspire others and leave a positive legacy? Do you want to look back and say, I made a difference? It all starts with the pebble, with the words you speak to yourself every day. And don't underestimate the power of your self-talk. It's not just about feeling good. It's about creating a life that's meaningful, impactful, and fulfilling. Throw that pebble into the pond, start the ripple, and watch how far it can go. Part 4. Practical tips to maintain positive self-talk. Now that we understand the power of self-talk and the incredible ripple effects it can create, the question becomes, how do we make it last? How do we ensure that this newfound positive dialogue isn't just a fleeting moment, but a lifelong transformation? The truth is, consistency is key. Maintaining positive self-talk isn't something that happens by accident. It's intentional, deliberate, and practiced every single day. Let me share with you some practical tips to sustain this habit and keep your momentum strong. 1. Start every day with a positive ritual. The way you begin your day sets the tone for everything that follows. Most people wake up and immediately dive into the chaos, checking emails, stressing about tasks, and letting the world dictate their mood. But let me tell you, my friends, you have the power to choose how your day begins. Start your morning with a simple yet powerful ritual. Spend 5 minutes reciting affirmations. Say things like, I am capable of achieving great things today, or I am grateful for the opportunities before me. Take 10 minutes to read or listen to something uplifting. A book, an audio program, or even a passage of scripture if that resonates with you. One of my favorite authors, Napoleon Hill, said it best. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Fill your mind with belief and possibility first thing in the morning, and watch how it carries you through the day. 2. Surround yourself with positive influences. Here's a principle I've taught for years. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If you surround yourself with people who uplift you, challenge you, and believe in you, their positivity will naturally influence your self-talk. But if you're surrounded by negativity, it's like trying to swim upstream against a strong current. Let me share a story. Back in the 1970s, I met a young man who was struggling to break out of a negative environment. He told me, Jim, every time I try to improve myself, my friends pull me back down. I asked him, do you want to grow or stay stuck? He said, I want to grow. So I gave him this advice. Find people who are where you want to be and spend time with them. Learn from them. Let their mindset rub off on you. A few years later, he reached out to tell me how that one change transformed his life. He had found mentors, joined a positive community, and even started mentoring others himself. 3. Practice gratitude daily. Gratitude is one of the simplest yet most profound ways to shift your mindset. When you focus on what you're thankful for, you crowd out negativity and create space for positivity. Every evening before you go to bed, write down 3 things you're grateful for. They don't have to be monumental. Sometimes the smallest things have the biggest impact. Maybe it's a kind word someone said to you. Maybe it's the opportunity to learn something new. Maybe it's simply the fact that you woke up today with another chance to grow. Let me tell you about a man named Earl Schoaf, one of my earliest mentors. Earl taught me that gratitude isn't just about recognizing what you have. It's about recognizing the potential of what's to come. He used to say, be grateful for the seeds you've planted, even before they sprout. That mindset changed everything for me. 4. Catch yourself early. Negative thoughts will still creep in. That's human nature. The key is to catch them early before they take root. Here's a simple technique. When you catch yourself thinking something negative, give yourself 5 seconds to counter it with something positive. For example, negative thought, I can't do this. Counter thought, I've overcome challenges before, and I'll do it again. The quicker you catch and replace negativity, the less power it has over you. 5. Celebrate small wins. One of the biggest mistakes people make is waiting for the big win before they celebrate. But here's the truth. Success is a series of small steps, not a giant leap. Every time you take a step forward, no matter how small, acknowledge it. Did you handle a situation better than you would have last week? Celebrate it. Did you stick to a positive habit for a day? Celebrate it. Let me tell you about a young salesman I worked with in the 1980s. He was discouraged because he hadn't reached his sales goals. I asked him, did you make more calls this week than last week? He nodded. Did you connect with more clients? Again, he nodded. I said, then celebrate that progress. Success is built one step at a time. By shifting his focus to what he was doing right, he regained his confidence and eventually surpassed his goals. 6. Invest in personal development. Personal development isn't a one-time event. It's a lifelong journey. The more you grow, the stronger your self-talk becomes. Set aside time each week to learn something new. Read books, attend seminars, or listen to audio programs. One book, one idea, one insight can change the trajectory of your life. I'll never forget the first time I read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. That book introduced me to the concept of a positive mental attitude, and it became a cornerstone of my philosophy. 7. Teach what you learn. Here's one of the most powerful ways to reinforce positive self-talk. Teach it to others. When you share what you're learning, you internalize it even more deeply. And as you see the impact it has on others, it motivates you to keep practicing what you preach. Back in the 1980s, I started teaching seminars on personal development. At first, I did it because I loved helping people. But what I didn't expect was how much it would help me. Every time I taught a principle, it became more ingrained in my own life. If you have friends, family, or colleagues who could benefit from what you're learning, share it with them. You don't have to be perfect to inspire others. You just have to be willing to grow. Maintaining positive self-talk isn't about never having a negative thought. It's about building the resilience to overcome them. It's about creating habits that support your growth and surrounding yourself with influences that uplift you. Remember, the seeds you plant today will grow into the life you live tomorrow. Speak to yourself with kindness, gratitude, and belief, and watch how those seeds blossom into a future filled with success and fulfillment. My friends, positive self-talk is the foundation of a life well lived. Commit to it, practice it, and share it with others. Your future self will thank you. Part 5. The long-term impact. My friends, what if I told you that the words you speak to yourself today could influence the course of your life for decades to come? What if the small choices you make now, those fleeting thoughts, those seemingly minor shifts in self-talk, could lead to a future you've only dreamed of? That's the long-term impact of positive self-talk. It doesn't just change your days, it transforms your years. It doesn't just improve your current circumstances, it shapes your destiny. Today, we're going to dive into the long-term impact of self-talk. We'll explore how it influences your career, your relationships, your health, and even your legacy. Let's take a closer look at how the ripples we talked about earlier expand into waves that carry you toward your ultimate potential. 1. The compounding effect of positive self-talk. You've heard me talk about the power of compounding, how small, consistent actions lead to exponential growth over time. Positive self-talk works the same way. Think of your mind as fertile soil. Every positive thought is a seed you plant. At first, you might not notice much change. But over time, those seeds take root, grow, and bear fruit. And the best part, the more you nurture them, the more abundant the harvest becomes. Here's a story for you. Back in the 1970s, I met a man named Tom. He was struggling, financially, emotionally, and professionally. His self-talk was full of negativity. I'll never get ahead, I'm not good enough, nothing ever works out for me. I challenged him to change just one thing, the way he talked to himself. For 30 days, he replaced every negative thought with a positive one. He didn't see much change at first, but he stayed consistent. Fast forward 5 years, Tom had built a thriving business, repaired broken relationships, and transformed his health. He told me, "Jim, it all started with the way I talked to myself." That's the compounding effect. 2. Transforming your career. Let's talk about your career. Whether you're an entrepreneur, an employee, or a leader, your self-talk directly impacts your success. Positive self-talk gives you the confidence to take risks, the resilience to bounce back from setbacks, and the clarity to pursue your goals. Do you know what separates top performers from the rest? It's not just talent or skill, it's mindset. The most successful people I've met have an unwavering belief in themselves, even in the face of adversity. Take the story of Mary Kay Ash, the founder of Mary Kay Cosmetics. In the early days of her business, she faced countless challenges: limited resources, skepticism from others, and a male-dominated industry that doubted her. But Mary Kay had a habit of positive self-talk. She would tell herself, "I can do this. I am capable. I will succeed." That mindset carried her through difficult times and helped her build one of the most successful companies in history. 3. Strengthening relationships. Now let's talk about relationships. The way you talk to yourself affects how you interact with others. When your inner dialogue is positive, you become more patient, empathetic, and understanding. You're better equipped to handle conflicts, support others, and build meaningful connections. There's a story I often share about a couple I met during a seminar in the 1980s. They were on the brink of divorce, constantly arguing and blaming each other. When I asked them about their self-talk, they both admitted it was filled with criticism of themselves and each other. I challenged them to spend 30 days practicing positive self-talk and gratitude. Instead of focusing on what was wrong, they started affirming what was right about themselves and each other. At the end of those 30 days, they told me, "Jim, we feel like we've fallen in love all over again." 4. Enhancing your health and well-being. Your mind and body are deeply connected. The way you talk to yourself influences not only your mental health, but also your physical well-being. The science of positive self-talk. Research has shown that positive thinking can lower stress, boost immunity, and even improve cardiovascular health. When you replace negative self-talk with affirmations, you reduce the physiological effects of stress and create a healthier, more balanced life. Let me share a story about a man named John who attended one of my seminars in the late 1990s. John was dealing with chronic stress and health issues. His self-talk was full of worry. "I'm always sick. I'll never feel better. Why bother trying?" I encouraged him to focus on what he could control, his mindset. For 60 days, he practiced affirmations like, "I am healthy and strong. I make choices that support my well-being, and every day I'm improving." The results were remarkable. Not only did his stress levels drop, but his overall health improved as well. 5. Leaving a legacy. Finally, let's talk about your legacy, the mark you leave on the world. Your self-talk doesn't just affect you. It influences everyone you encounter. When you speak to yourself with positivity and belief, you inspire others to do the same. I remember a man named Jack who attended one of my seminars in the early 1980s. Jack was a manager at a small company, and he came to the seminar looking for ways to motivate his team. I told him, "Jack, the best way to inspire others is to model the behavior you want to see." Jack took that advice to heart. He started practicing positive self-talk and sharing his journey with his team. Within a year, his team's morale improved, productivity soared, and Jack became a mentor to others. Years later, he told me, "Jim, the greatest reward isn't the success I've achieved. It's the lives I've touched along the way." 6. Overcoming adversity. Life will always have challenges, but here's the good news. Positive self-talk equips you to face adversity with strength and resilience. There's a story I'll never forget about a woman named Sarah who lost her job during the economic downturn in the early 2000s. She could have easily spiraled into negativity, but instead she chose to focus on what she could control, her mindset. Sarah told herself, "This is an opportunity to reinvent myself. I have the skills and determination to succeed." With that mindset, she started her own business, a venture that eventually became more successful than her previous job. Sarah later told me, "Jim, losing my job was a blessing in disguise. It forced me to grow." My friends, the long-term impact of self-talk is profound. It shapes your beliefs, drives your actions, and ultimately determines your destiny. The beauty of it all is that you have the power to choose. You can choose to speak to yourself with kindness, encouragement, and belief. You can choose to plant seeds of growth and nurture them every day. And as those seeds grow, they will create a life of abundance, purpose, and fulfillment, not just for you, but for everyone you touch along the way. Remember, the words you speak to yourself today are the foundation of the life you'll build tomorrow. So choose wisely. Speak to yourself with the same respect and belief you would give to someone you admire. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as we come to the end of today's session, I want to take a moment to leave you with something. Now, when I first started, I didn't promise you this. I didn't think about sharing it today. But sometimes when you're speaking from the heart, you get a little inspired to give just a bit more. So here it is. Something simple, yet one of the most effective tactics of success I've ever come across. That is visioning success. My friends, let me ask you this. How many of you have ever sat down and truly thought about what success looks like for you? Not just a fleeting thought, but a vivid, detailed vision that fills your mind, your heart, and your spirit. I'm talking about seeing it, feeling it, as if it's already happening. You see, there's a powerful technique that successful people use. A technique that has been around for centuries but is still, to this day, one of the most overlooked practices. It's called visioning success. The idea is simple, but incredibly profound. The more clearly you can see where you want to go, the more likely you are to get there. Now, I don't just mean thinking about your goals casually. I'm talking about engaging your entire mind, body, and soul in a detailed vision of your ideal future. If you want success, you must see it with the same clarity as if you were already living it. Let me take you back to a time when a young man, not unlike many of you here today, was struggling. He had dreams, big dreams, but his reality was far from what he envisioned. Let's call him John. John was a bright, motivated guy with a burning desire to succeed, but he wasn't quite sure how to make it happen. He was working a regular job, living a life that he knew wasn't his full potential. He knew there was more for him, but like so many people, he was caught up in the routine of day-to-day survival. John would sit in his small apartment after a long day of work, staring out the window, wondering if he was ever going to break free from the cycle. But one night, he remembered something his mentor had said to him years ago. The future is created by what you see today. Your vision will determine your direction. That night, something clicked. John decided to make a commitment to himself. He wasn't just going to hope for a better life. He was going to see it. He was going to create a vision of his future so vivid and so real that nothing could stand in his way. The first thing he did was to write down his vision. He wrote it out in incredible detail, what he wanted to achieve, how he wanted to feel, what his life would look like when he reached his goals. He didn't just write down generalities like "I want to be successful." No, he wrote down everything. The kind of home he wanted to live in. He pictured himself in a beautiful, spacious house, one with a large backyard, a place where he could entertain friends and family. The smell of fresh flowers in the air, the sunlight streaming through the windows. Then, his work. He pictured himself running his own successful business, leading a team of talented people, not having to report to anyone, but having the power to create, innovate, and make a lasting impact. Then, his health and energy. He saw himself running marathons, feeling strong, healthy, and vibrant. He imagined the feeling of waking up every morning full of energy, excited for the day ahead. Even he pictured his relationships. He envisioned deep, fulfilling relationships with his family, friends, and loved ones. He saw himself surrounded by positive, uplifting people who supported his vision and encouraged his growth. More than anything, he pictured the feelings he would have once he achieved his vision: pride, fulfillment, joy, and gratitude. He didn't stop there. He visualized the steps he would take to get there. Every morning, he would wake up and close his eyes for a few minutes. He would picture himself going through his day, step by step, living out his vision. He imagined himself taking those critical actions, meeting people, taking risks, making decisions. And then he would feel it. He would feel the excitement of success, the sense of accomplishment. He made it so real in his mind that he could almost touch it, almost taste it. Now, this wasn't some magic trick. This wasn't about wishing for something to happen. It was about creating a mental blueprint, a detailed map of where he was going. He believed so deeply in his vision that he started making small, practical decisions every day to move closer to it. And you know what happened? John started to see opportunities where before he had seen only obstacles. He began to notice things he'd missed, ideas, people, resources that were now in alignment with his vision. His confidence grew. He wasn't just hoping for success. He was acting in alignment with his vision. And with each step, his future became a little more real. It wasn't an overnight transformation. There were struggles, there were setbacks, but John kept his vision clear. When things got tough, he went back to that vision, reminding himself why he was doing it. And with time, the vision became his reality. Fast forward a few years and John is living the life he once only dreamed about. He's running his own business, has the home he envisioned, and feels healthier and more alive than ever before. But most importantly, he's not just living the vision he created, he's teaching others to do the same. John's story is not unique. There are countless examples of people who have used the power of visioning success to turn their dreams into reality. The truth is, your vision is your compass. It shows you where you need to go. It helps you stay focused on what truly matters and reject the distractions that keep you stuck. But here's the key. You have to make your vision so clear, so compelling, that it becomes the driving force in your life. Now, I know some of you might be skeptical. You might be thinking, this sounds nice, Jim, but does it really work? And my answer to that is, absolutely. But only if you're willing to do the work. Visioning success isn't about waiting for the universe to hand you what you want. It's about getting clear on what you want, committing to it, and then taking consistent action to make it a reality. So what does your future look like? What does your ideal life look like? Can you see it? I mean, really see it, feel it, and taste it? If you can't see it yet, that's okay, but start today. Close your eyes and begin to paint the picture of your life. Write it down, speak it out loud, make it real. The more you do this, the more your mind and body will align with your vision. And as you align yourself with it, the world around you will begin to respond. As I always say, success is something you attract by the person you become. So become someone who has a vision, someone who knows exactly where they're going and why they're going there. And remember this, the clearer your vision, the faster you'll get there. As we approach the end of this powerful journey together, I want you to take a moment and reflect on everything we've discussed today. We've unpacked the profound impact of self-talk on our lives, and now it's time to move from theory to action. The 3-day challenge we've laid out isn't just an exercise. It's a stepping stone towards something much greater. For the last few minutes, I want to leave you with a few thoughts to carry forward as you step into this challenge and beyond. I want you to understand something deeply important. It's not about how fast you grow, but about the consistency of your growth. Every step you take toward improving your inner dialogue is a victory. It's not about being perfect, it's about progress. And that, my friend, is what sets the successful apart from the unsuccessful. I want you to imagine something for a moment. Think of a small stream of water trickling down the side of a mountain. Over time, that gentle stream erodes even the hardest rock. It doesn't do it with force, but with the power of consistency. Every drop of water, though small, adds up to create a mighty force. Your thoughts are that stream, and your mind is the rock. Every positive thought, every affirming word you say to yourself, is a drop of water carving out a path of transformation. Consistency matters. In your life, your success won't be determined by grand moments of inspiration. It will be shaped by the quiet, daily decisions you make. And that starts with how you talk to yourself. Imagine if every day, just like that stream, you spoke to yourself with the same encouragement, the same belief, the same power. Over time, you'll see that the actions you take, the opportunities that come your way, and the success that follows will all stem from this one foundational habit: self-talk. But let's be honest for a moment. Change isn't always easy. There are going to be days when you feel like the negative thoughts are overwhelming. There will be moments when doubt creeps in and you wonder if this whole process is even worth it. I want to remind you of something crucial. Those moments are part of the journey. Everyone faces doubts. Even the most successful people have moments where they question themselves. But the difference between them and others is that they don't let those doubts define them. When those negative thoughts appear, don't fight them by pretending they don't exist. Acknowledge them, but don't let them control you. Remember, you are the gardener of your mind. You get to decide which seeds grow. When doubt creeps in, replace it with an affirmation: I am capable of overcoming this challenge. This is a temporary setback, and I am moving forward. Speak to yourself as if you already have the strength and wisdom you need. Let's talk about the ripple effect for a moment. When you change the way you speak to yourself, you don't just change your life. You change the lives of those around you. Think about the people in your life, your family, your friends, your colleagues. When you show up as someone who believes in themselves, who lifts themselves up, you inspire those around you to do the same. You see, positive self-talk is not a selfish endeavor. It doesn't exist in a vacuum. As you grow, you will naturally encourage others to grow with you. You'll inspire your children, your peers, your employees, or your friends to believe in themselves and pursue their own potential. And that ripple effect is what creates lasting change, not just in your own life, but in the world around you. Now, imagine that you consistently talk to yourself with the belief that you are capable of greatness. Over time, you'll notice that your success isn't just about what you do. It's about who you become. You'll become the type of person others want to follow, collaborate with, and learn from. And that's the power of self-talk. It doesn't just change you, it transforms the environment around you. I want to challenge you further. The 3-day challenge is just the beginning. What I'm asking you to do is not a short-term fix, but a lifelong habit. Yes, it starts with 3 days, but I encourage you to make it a part of your daily routine. Every day, when you wake up, start by speaking life into your day. Speak power into your morning. Make it a habit to talk to yourself like the person you want to become, not the person you currently are. Remember, success doesn't happen overnight. It's built day by day, word by word. The more you practice this positive self-talk, the more you'll see the results. Over time, you'll start to believe in your own power, you'll take bigger risks, and you'll achieve things you once thought were impossible. But here's the key. Along the way, embrace the journey. Don't rush it. Be patient with yourself. Growth isn't always linear. There will be setbacks, there will be challenges, and there will be moments of doubt. But I want you to remember something. Setbacks are setups for comebacks. Every time you stumble, you have an opportunity to rise stronger, wiser, and more resilient than before. As you begin this journey, don't expect perfection. Expect progress. Expect that you will evolve and that each day will bring you closer to the person you were meant to be. Let me leave you with one final thought. The way you speak to yourself is the foundation on which your life is built. The words you say today are shaping your future. If you want to change your future, you have to change your inner dialogue. It's as simple as that. You have the power to transform your life by transforming the way you talk to yourself. And when you change your inner dialogue, you change the world around you. So don't wait another day. Start today. Talk to yourself with kindness, encouragement, and belief. Speak life into your soul and watch how your world begins to change. I'll leave you with this. You are capable of far more than you know. You are stronger than you think. You are more powerful than you believe. And every day, with every word you say to yourself, you're taking one step closer to unlocking the greatness that's already inside you. Thank you for joining me today. I believe in you, and I can't wait to see the person you become through this simple yet powerful shift in your self-talk. Keep working on yourself, stay committed to your growth, and never forget that the best version of you is waiting to be unleashed. Keep moving forward, my friends. The world is waiting for the impact only you can make. Speak life, speak power, speak belief. Thank you. And I look forward to hearing about your journey in the days to come.